that tunnel entrance and let's get this wagon train moving. Nice shot. Now let's get these babies up that valley and give General Kyong a warm Idaho welcome. Hayato.
So here we are. Part 4. I've shit on this game here and there throughout my retrospective series, but I will state now that I've had an absolute blast revisiting this game, up until this point. At the end of part 3 I said briefly that I usually never played past the assault mission. Out of the dozen or so times that I've reinstalled and played Crysis since 2008, I would not be lying to you if I said that I completed Crysis maybe 2 times, once for this series of videos. This next area isn't completely awful, it has some highlights that I will be sure to mention, but emerging on the other side of this tunnel marks the official decline of the game, both in terms of design and later in polish. Oh, sweet, we have a tank. Crap, took some damage. Wait, no. So here's the meme. Nice. But back to Crysis. You need to keep this tank alive for as long as possible if you want to have a long and fruitful life here on Lingshan Island. This, however, can be pretty hard. Considering that there is no way to repair your tank once it's been thoroughly slapped. I know for a fact that the multiplayer in this game had a repair tool for fixing vehicles similar to the Battlefield games, so you can slap me fucking silly if I know why they decided not to give you one here. An enemy tank can take you out in around 4 to 5 hits, so if you get to around 80% damage, you might as well say goodbye to Abrams-chan. Make sure you've stopped before jumping out though, or she'll fucking kill ya. I hope you've managed to at least kill the tanks around your objective, because there aren't as many rocket launchers lying around as there really should be. Here I figured maybe I could take one of these other tanks. It's not like they're helping much anyway. No, you can't. You're a Delta Force first lieutenant in a mecha gimp suit. I'm sure they'd let you have it if you ask nicely. This mission had the potential to be really good. I mean, it's the natural progression from the invasion in the previous area. It's a big open battlefield, tanks rolling in, planes and helicopters, and yet it's brought down by the fact that once the one tank you have is destroyed, the mission becomes 10 times more frustrating. You get one more replacement in the form of this Korean tank at the first objective, but if you're on foot, then there's nowhere really to hide. The Korean tanks can spot you very easily through these small patches of forest, but in all fairness, they're not the worst thing here. It's those fucking helicopters. Whoever designed this level thought that a great way to increase the difficulty here would be to just keep sending helicopters your way. From what I was able to tell while playing, there are a number of trigger points along the map as you progress forward, and each one of these sends in a new helicopter. If you somehow still have your tank here, well, you might as well say goodbye to it now. Unless you've got a built-in mind radar and you can take them out before they even get close, there isn't much you can do about them without getting out. The turret can't look up high enough to be able to shoot them down most of the time, so the best way to take care of them is to hope that you have a rocket launcher on you when you leave. Help me, man, fucking do something! Also, come on with the rockets. Wasn't the melt beam of a machine gun enough on the helicopters? Flying enemies in FPS games are already a sin in my opinion, because most of the time they're not designed well. The machine gun is already stupidly powerful, but someone at Crytek was just like, Scheiße Mann, setze ein paar Raketen auf das Ding! Yeah. Your first objective is to blow up that train car I mentioned earlier. You'll want to keep your tank alive for as long as possible, but you do get that replacement once you get there. My advice is to try and hide the hull of your tank, that is the bottom part, behind terrain. The AI seems to actively target this area, so you can avoid a lot of unnecessary damage if you shoot from the top of this hill near the start. It's unlikely you'll keep the tank, but at least you can take out most of the enemies around you to make your life a little easier. It's the next part that's the real bally. You have these 3 AAA batteries to take out. Gee, I wonder where they came up with that idea. Thankfully, this is the last time the game will recycle an objective. That's great, right? You get some cool scenery here at least. Levolution, eat your fucking heart out, huh? The helicopters will get annoying as fuck here, so make sure you've always got rockets on you. I had to get creative here. I went too far out without any way of taking this one out, so I made it follow me as I backtracked to find the launcher near one of the first AAA guns. Once you've destroyed the third one, you thankfully get to breathe for a bit. You go up this hill and call in an airstrike. Maybe I spoke too soon. I promise though, no more recycled objectives. You're given the Gauss rifle for the first time and the game actually becomes good for a little bit longer. You encounter this firefight on a little farm just ahead and the game actually feels like Crysis again. Enjoy that feeling while it lasts, fellas. To be fair, the area after this one is still pretty good and you get a bunch of new toys to play with too. Like this grenade launcher attachment that you find here in this town, as well as the minigun that you get when you cross into the other map. But to get there, you have to cross this fucking fucking mess. The Koreans have set up the Great Wall of Landmine, and it's just another example of the developers going, we should put an obstacle in the player's way. Let's just put down a shit ton of mines and turrets. That'll work great. Stray a Frenchman's inch away from the middle of this road and you're met with the silent treatment. As a handsome gamer once said, mines in this game are a little silly. After channeling in your inner Genghis Khan and brutishly trying to make your way into China, you realize that your dump truck marine pals will not follow you in. This entire time the game has had trouble justifying why you have had to be alone for some of the sections. Just like earlier when they couldn't think of a way of naturally having Psycho meet you near the hostage, opting instead for quantum leaping. Nonetheless, you enter the last decent area in the game. There's a secondary objective just up ahead that is gonna make you dox Kyong's current location. But I thought you said they're not— Shut up. This made me wonder, what would happen if I just bypassed it? I can't know for sure because I didn't try it in this playthrough, because honestly, there's no real reason as for why you would intentionally avoid this objective. I mean, it's right there in front of you when you enter the area. I think any normal person playing this game for the first time would gladly fight some more KPA here after having just faced off against the tank helicopter shitfest of the last level. If I was to guess, it would be like the CIA rescue, where you get to your first objective and someone magically lets you know where you need to go. Just seems weird why some of these are secondary objectives and not just something you have to do before you can progress. Why is disabling the radar at the start a secondary objective? Seems pretty important to the story at least, if not the gameplay. Who knows, it's just one of those quirks of the game. This first part is pretty fun. I think Crysis is at its best when there are a lot of buildings around you that you can use for cover, especially if you're gonna throw a ton of vehicles my way. There's an APC patrolling around that you have to be wary of, but you don't have to kill it if you don't want to for some reason. Fighting in the buildings also shows off the advanced neural network involved in the creation of the enemy AI. You can be sitting here for hours, constantly quick saving to see what you can do to fuck with the AI here. As you progress forward, the alien mountain anomaly is always looming over you, with rocks crumbling and falling off. It's pretty effective. There's a constant sense of haste to get to Kyong before he does something potentially world-ending. There's a mining mill ahead that you have to clear out for Strickland's Marines to be able to land. Oh look, there's more inferior Korean nanosuits. If you have the Gauss rifle here, then this area will be pretty easy. If not, then good luck. The Gauss rifle can take these guys out in just a couple of hits from a distance. If all you have is an assault rifle, then you might have a bad time dealing with their miniguns.
That, and of course they have to send in another fucking helicopter.
The Marines land and you have to go clear out the Quarry now. Quarry?
Quarry got a—
Never heard of her. Let's just drive straight into the Remember how I said that Crysis is at its best with a lot of cover around? Welp. Welcome to the Quarry. The exact opposite of that. It sucks too because I really like the idea of it. It looks pretty cool too. You have to find your way down these roads on the sides and there's plenty of opportunities for some sick air in your truck. By the way, you may have noticed the constant autosaving. It can be pretty annoying. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad I can spare my finger from having to stretch to the F5 key 10 times every minute, but it's just so jarring when you're driving or in the middle of a fight and the game just pauses for a second. Here's what the fall into the Quarry actually looked like because the game decided to autosave right in the middle of it. Makes editing these videos a real treat. So you're trying to get to the tunnel entrance, clinging onto the little cover you have available to you. There's machine guns and mines around the entrance too, of course, but at least the MG emplacements are destructible. Your marine buddies help you out too from the top of the Quarry, shooting missiles down at the entrance. By some complete miracle, I managed to hide long enough to build up my energy meter and made a dash into the mine pretty much undetected. The inside of the tunnel is a pretty nice change of pace. First of all, it's dark here, so you finally have a use for your night vision. Yeah, remember the night vision? I'm sure you've been using that a lot. Want to know something cool about the night vision? The geniuses over at Crytek decided it would be a good idea to add a high-pitched hum when you turn it on. And it's not like the Splinter Cell games where it only plays for like a second or two. No, this one's constant.
Maximum armor.
If you can't hear that, then I'm sorry to say you've been to one too many raves in your life. Here's another worthless mechanic. Your night vision has its own separate energy meter. I never understood this shit. Even the Half-Life games had a power meter for their flashlights. You realize I can just stand in one place and wait for it to replenish, right? I'm so glad that some of this old school shit has gone away. It's like the developers just copied random mechanics from each other over the years without really even considering if they make sense for their own games or not. It's not like Amnesia where you have to find oil to keep your lantern lit. That actually adds some tension. Imagine if the lantern had a 1 minute lifespan and then you had to sit still for 20 seconds for the magic lantern juice to fill up again.
What is that gonna do?
choking on dicks.
I need to give the game some credit though. This is the first time they've put you in a dark section with no enemies to fight. The ominous cave sounds and the anticipation of what's to come makes this a surprisingly effective little scene. You finally find Kyong, but our special ops legend, the Nomad, gets absolutely starched. You've used the cloaking cutscenes before, dude. It's not that hard.
So, you are listening. Nice. We may have discovered the greatest source the world has ever known. Would the CIA be interested in source, Doctor?
What are you talking about?
Would he be interested in...
No.
Stop this, you plus...
Jesus Christ! Jesus! Jesus Christ!
I will not...
Yo, fucking boss fight? I'm sure this'll be... Fucking mood. So, that was a shocking boss fight. Sure hope there won't be any more later. You try to evacuate with the good doctor, but you're dummy thick, and bring the whole elevator down. Not before she gets pulled out on a lifeline, though. Not you though, you have to be punished. With the elevator now dead, you decide that rather than waiting to be excavated out of the cave, you'd rather enter the alien monolith in the hopes of there being another exit. It's a bold move, though it's probably more dumb than brave to be honest. For all you know, you could be eviscerated the moment you go through the door, but fuck it, let's give it a good old college try. I might say something that you weren't expecting now. These first few moments in the alien base are actually pretty good. It's been years since I've played through enough of the game to be here again, and I was really surprised at how much this level managed to captivate my attention. As you walk in, you start to lose radio contact with Command, but since the suit is still recording everything around him, Nomad starts to monologue about his surroundings.
I've got movement. Shit. It's the same thing that got Prophet.
The music is very minimal and ominous. The sound effects play on the ice theme of the Ceph, with little chimes and steam in the background. I was surprised because I always remembered everything about this level as being shit. But don't worry, there's plenty of poo to go around.
What? I just lost gravity.
Welp, the facility went 0G. Thank God you have fucking thrusters built into your suit. What? I mean, look, I know that the suit was built from alien tech, so they could have potentially known that the Ceph live in 0G environments, but like, come on. First of all, how are you gonna make thrusters big enough to propel this heavy-ass suit and fit onto it too? And even then, how are you even gonna power them? I don't really buy it, I'm sorry. I can at least forgive it now because it's something new and interesting.
I'm not alone down here.
Ooh, I'm liking this. I was actually really impressed with the amount of restraint that they had about introducing you to the aliens here. You first get to see one of these ships entering through a tunnel at the beginning, then you get but a little glimpse of one of those alien fellas here, before they come out and attack you for the first time. Up until this point, you can't even be sure how strong they are, or if they would even try and attack you at all outside of their protective machinery. For some reason, I remembered something completely different, like some lame jump scare or something. What the fuck? So I guess all that build-up was for nothing then. What's the point of building up this atmosphere if you're just gonna ruin it with a shit reveal like that? It's funny too, because the orchestral sting and everything about this cutscene makes it feel like this was meant to be the first reveal of the aliens, when in actual fact you've just killed 2 of them in close quarters. From now on, this level just becomes shit. It's really easy to get lost in these autistic alien tunnel networks, and the 0G doesn't do you any favors. Just make sure you get a shotgun and keep on trucking till the end, brother. There's this one part in specific where you get to these big energy shields that you need to get past, and the solution seems really weird and disorientating. Nomad says this.
I think these gateways are on a timer, like a sequence. Maybe I can slip through if I time it right.
But actually, there's no timing necessary other than just waiting in place till the fucking things turn off. What makes it confusing too is that there's a lot of tunnels around, so while you're just fucking waiting there with your thumb up your ass, you're actively going around and trying to find a way past it. It turns into a wave shooter at the end too, as you wait for the exit to open. It sucks. It really sucks.
Are you out?
got your signal strong and clear. Looks like you're back online. Transmitting your video data to JSOC now.
I can see daylight.
I'm closing in on your signal. Looks like an exit point, but I can't get too close. Approaching visual range.
There he is. Nomad, we see you. Look out!
Damn it, I'm hit! I'm hit!
Here we fucking go. So the aliens turned this part of the island into ice. That's kinda their thing. It's what they do. We're introduced to the Trooper, a new alien enemy type. They're really annoying to fight. The shotgun takes them out the fastest by far at this point, since you don't have the Gauss rifle anymore, but their erratic movement makes them an absolute pain in the ass to fight. Doesn't help either that this section is also horribly optimized. Crysis has been reasonably smooth for me up until now, but you're gonna see a lot of slideshow presentations in part 5. Yes, that's happening. But to end this part, allow me to show you just something absolutely amazing. The Troopers self-destruct a few seconds after dying. I wanted to capture one of them for this video, and this happened. Oh boy.
I want you to subscribe to me
Scav Merchant Hub
on YouTube. Thank you, cringe. Bye.
What goes up must come down.